Shabbat Shalom, Norrisley family. I'm here today to offer a confession. Back in January, we were in China. You see, we stopped en route from Australia back home to London, and the plan was to be a couple of days in Beijing, see the Great Wall of China, and then take a flight out of Shanghai. It was just a stopover in Shanghai. But the strangest story happened. We get to the border, we get off our plane from Australia, and they say to us, I'm sorry, you are going to have to buy a ticket directly from Beijing to London. If you don't accept it, we will send you right back to Australia where you came from. And we said, what are you talking about? Our ticket states clearly Beijing to Shanghai to London. What's the problem? No, I'm sorry, you cannot do that. That's not the route that you can take. And so we were forced, sitting there at the airport, to buy completely new tickets that would take us directly from Beijing to London. Little did we know at the time that coronavirus had struck, and no doubt the Chinese government had stopped all inter-province travel. They didn't mention a word at the time. But now we know, and in hindsight, I deeply regret our decision to visit China, but for more than one reason. I'm here today to tell you about it and to apologize publicly. In this week's haftarah, a special Shabbat Chazon, the Shabbat before Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, the most tragic day on the Jewish calendar, we have a vision from Isaiah. And Isaiah, who prophesies the destruction of the temple, says, hear the word of the Lord, O rulers of Sodom. Give ear to the law of God, O people of Gomorrah. He's calling the leaders of our people at the time, just prior to the destruction, leaders of Sodom and Gomorrah. What makes a leader of Sodom and Gomorrah? How do you define someone who represents Sodom and Gomorrah? So let's take a look at the words of our sages in Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers, chapter 5. Our sages say, arba midos, there are 4 types of people. One who says, shali, shalach, v'shalach shali, what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine, is ignorant. One who says, shali, shali, v'shalach, shalach, what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, that's an average person. But some say it is the character trait of Sodom. The third category, one who says, shali shalach, v'shalach shalach, what's mine is yours and what's yours is pious. And then one who says, shali shali, v'shalach shali, what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine, that's a rasha, that's a wicked person. But let's go to category number 2. Why is it that someone who says what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, well, it's an average position, but according to the other opinion, it's a sodomite position. Why? Well, listen to it. Think about it. The message is, I'll mind my business, you mind yours, I'll let you take care of what you want to take care of, and I won't mix in. I'll turn a blind eye to whatever you are doing. But meanwhile, the wicked one is taking from the helpless, from the victims. He's persecuting them, and you're turning a blind eye. Eventually, what happens to Sodom when he's persecuted all the weakest links? He goes after you because there's nothing else to take, and it's only then that you get the message. But by then it's too late, and that is the downfall of Sodom. Everything unravels. Today I want to talk to you about the plight of the Uyghur people, an ethnic minority Muslim group in China. We've had images coming out of China of the Uyghurs blindfolded, loaded onto trains to be interned and culturally cleansed. Shiploads of hair ostensibly from forced shavings, slave labor, sterilization, the list goes on. And for the Chinese ambassador to show no sense of shock nor a whiff of remorse when presented with these images is grotesque. But while we may not have seen visual evidence of this oppression, we've known about it for many years already. We've known the family members have gone missing, the innocents have been locked up for no good reason, and that this ethnic minority, day in, day out, fear for their lives. And yet, we've gone about our lives as if everything is okay. And that's why I stand here today feeling guilty. I took a lovely tour of China in the winter. I supported this oppressive regime. I turned a blind eye and effectively said yes to evil. And they were able to get away with it due to their authoritarian lack of transparency. When international human rights, including groups, including the UN, wanted to visit, they denied them permission. And there was nary a murmur or complaint. Sadly, it wasn't until this lack of transparency led to the greatest pandemic in a century that we've woken up and begun to protest these terrible people. Tragically, only now that we are affected are we demanding transparency from the Chinese. Had they only been transparent, over 500,000 people in the world would still be alive today, we say. And the more we seek transparency, the more we recognize the human rights abuses that they've been perpetrating every day, that we were aware of all along, but somehow didn't stop us doing business with them and enjoying the Great Wall. Yes, the Great Wall of lies, the Great Wall of oppression, the Great Wall of evil. Never again must mean never again. We must demand transparency. There must be consequences, economic, and if need be, more serious ramifications. It begins with us, boycotting Huawei, Lenovo, TikTok. Yes, TikTok, a nice Chinese company that all our children seem to spend a lot of time on. Let me tell you, I've tried banning it from our family home. While I might have been unsuccessful, at least it afforded me the opportunity to discuss the atrocities with my children. And the more we talk about these things, the more the message will get out there that China is perpetrating evil and must be stopped. Let us invite transparency into our lives. Let's never turn a blind eye to the suffering of others, and let's do whatever we can to stop evil in its midst. To learn more about the Uyghurs' dire situation, please join us on Monday as we chat with Karen Pollock of the Holocaust Education Trust. May we hear good news. May this world be peaceful. May we have a rebuilding of this world, peace for all, with the coming of Mashiach, the building of the temple before the 9th of Av this week. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom, peace in the world, and have an easy and meaningful Tisha B'Av.